Good morning, mathematicians. We are looking at Unit 7, Lesson 9, we're generating patterns. This cooldown is about patterns and analyzing the relationship that those patterns might have. Number 1 says to list the first 10 numbers for these two patterns. Jada's rule is to start with 0 and keep adding 5. So that's exactly what we do. Notice I have typed in those numbers because that starts with 0 and each value thereafter is an additional 5. So that's what we should have for Jada's rule. Priya's rule is different. Priya's rule says to start with 0 and to keep adding 10 each time. So again, I started with 0, I added 10 each time, and you can see that those are the values that we should have for that pattern. Now, when I look, of course, Jada's numbers all have a relationship of adding 5. Priya's numbers all have a relationship of adding 10. But what number 2 is wanting us to notice is that there is also a relationship between the corresponding term in Jada's pattern and in Priya's pattern. So for example, right here when I look, I see that Priya's number is Priya's number is double Jada's number, or Jada's number is half of Priya's number. Now that exists everywhere. If I take this one for example, 30 is 1/2 of 60, or 60 is double 30. That is what we are to notice in that number 2. Number 2 says what pattern will be in Priya's, or what number will be in Priya's pattern when Jada's pattern has a 100 in it. Okay? So when Jada's pattern has 100, Priya's has to be double that, because that is what we just found to be true with all of the numbers in this pattern. So we're going to write 200. Now this did not ask us to explain that. Where we're actually going to explain it is in number 3. So let's come down to number 3 and let's write what relationship we noticed between the corresponding numbers in the two patterns. And specifically, what relationship we noticed that helped us know that Jada's pattern at 100 would mean Priya's pattern would be at 200. So we can write that Priya's numbers, let me take away that H so I spell it correctly. Priya's numbers are double Jada's numbers, or Jada's numbers are half Priya's numbers. Okay, so that is what we were to find in number 3, and we found that already if we found that answer of 200 in number 2. But number 3 was really challenging us to use our math mind to explain exactly what that relationship is.